The Storm. Chapter 1 The Storm of Returning to China. The news of Liu Mingyuan's return to China exploded in the business world like thunder. This young genius, who is dominating overseas, suddenly announced his return, and the entire financial circle was in turmoil. At the same time, Bai Sumo, a female elite known as Zhou Yu in the business world, became the focus of attention on the spot because of a fierce argument in a high-level meeting. The two things seem to be unrelated, but those who are familiar with the inside story know that the enmity between these two people was deeply rooted 2 years ago. Chapter 2, An An's Story. 2 years ago, none of that happened. Bai Sumo is still rising in the country, shrewd and capable, but he is also serious and cold, and he is wary of anyone. Someone mentioned Liu Mingyuan's name, and she sneered, that person has a perverse temperament, and he will do whatever it takes, which will only bring trouble. At that time, an ordinary but innocent boy, was at the intersection of the two forces. Liu Mingyuan and Bai Sumo competed with each other for a project, and An was involved. No one expected that the spark of the dispute would eventually burn An, causing the innocent boy to suffer unimaginable harm and even disappear from people's sight. Chapter 3 Becoming Enemies at First Sight. Time flies. Liu Mingyuan returned to China and officially met Bai Sumo for the first time, but the two faced each other like old enemies. When Bai Sumo was furious because of the other party's aggressive attitude, he vomited blood on the spot, causing the audience to be shocked. Liu Mingyuan smiled easily and teasingly, "Sumo, are you okay? This meeting, why don't we stop being so hostile, maybe I'll be quite good." Chapter 4 The Dark Tide is Surging. As the two fought openly, the business community continued to talk about it. Bai Sumo is named the female version of Zhou Yu, smart and wise, but very scheming. Liu Mingyuan became the hot young master of the storm, and quickly seized the market with his sharp wrists. However, few people know that behind their struggle, there is a deep guilt for An's fate. Both are actually looking for a chance to atone for their sins, but they don't want to admit it. Chapter 5 Emotional Rifts. At an unexpected corporate dinner, Bai Sumo overheard Liu Mingyuan talking about An in private, and his eyes revealed unspeakable pain. This made her start to re-examine this man and herself 2 years ago. She discovers that under that seemingly indifferent appearance, there is a soft and complex heart. Liu Mingyuan was also observing Bai Sumo's changes, and gradually felt that the two were not only hostile, but also had unspoken bonds. Chapter 6 Dark Night Showdown. As competition grows in the business world, the two are forced to join forces to deal with threats from the Dark Ones. One night, Bai Sumo and Liu Mingyuan were accidentally killed in a secret meeting and were forced to join forces to fight the crisis. On the verge of life and death, the tacit understanding between the two impressed everyone. This experience made them understand that cooperation is far more powerful than confrontation. Chapter 7 The Secret Unraveled. In the process of joint investigation, the two uncovered a shocking conspiracy around An. Someone deliberately took advantage of the fight between the two to frame the innocent teenager with the intention of destroying the two forces. Shocked and guilty, the two decided to put aside their prejudices and work together to find An's whereabouts, vowing to make amends for their past mistakes. Chapter 8 Reunion and Redemption. In a remote mountain village, the two finally found An, who was already in trouble. Although An's vitality is fragile, the moment she saw the two of them, her eyes were full of tears. It turned out that he had long been controlled by secret forces and lost his freedom. Bai Sumo and Liu Mingyuan are determined to protect him together, and take him back to the city to start a new life. Underscore 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 on. Chapter 9, Confession of Sincerity. In the days of accompanying An to recover, the relationship between the two gradually softened. After a drink, Lu Mingyuan hooked Bai Sumo's neck and asked with a chuckle, "Sumo, look, am I quite easy to do now?" Bai Sumo glared at him, but couldn't help laughing. 2 years of grievances finally resolved into a warm tacit understanding at this moment. Underscore 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 on. Chapter 10, The Road Ahead. An's recovery opened a new chapter in the relationship between the two. They decided to stop arguing about the past and instead work together to create the future. The business world is changing, but with each other's company, both of them can face it calmly, whether it is rough or calm. Chapter 11, The Conspiracy Resumes. Just as Bai Sumo and Lu Mingyuan joined hands to take An into a new life, a new dark tide quietly blew in the depths of the business world. A mysterious person, a master hacker who calls himself Shadow Fox, begins to control capital and intelligence behind his back, using high-tech means to erode the foundation of the two forces. This invisible war instantly made Bai Sumo and Lu Mingyuan have to let go of each other's defenses and fight side by side again. Underscore 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 on. Chapter 12, The Hacker's Challenge. Shadow Fox has repeatedly sent provocative signals under the identity of anonymity, revealing the secrets within the two companies, causing them to face a huge crisis of trust. Bai Sumo calmly analyzed, this time the enemy does not just rely on financial resources, but knows how to use technology and psychological warfare, and must use wisdom and courage to fight back. Lu Mingyuan quickly mobilized his technical team to form an anti-shadow operation team, vowing to capture this invisible enemy. Underscore 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 on. Chapter 13, Tracking in the Night. In a crucial exchange of information, Bai Sumo and Lu Mingyuan's team successfully located a possible hiding place for Shadow Fox. In the darkness of the night, the two personally led a team to an abandoned factory to launch a raid. Shadows and neon intertwined, and the two sides launched a battle between technology and humanity. In the end, the identity of the enemy was revealed to everyone's surprise. Shadow Fox turned out to be An's biological brother Ran, who disappeared in the past. Underscore 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 on. Chapter 14, Blood and Hatred. Because his family was persecuted by business magnates, Ran had the idea of revenge and used high-tech means to create chaos, intending to destroy many forces, including Bai Sumo and Lu Mingyuan. Faced with the grievances between the brothers, An fell into deep pain and turned to Bai Sumo and Lu Mingyuan for help, hoping to resolve this dispute. Bai Sumo and Lu Mingyuan understand that solving this crisis is not only business competition, but also the entanglement of family emotions. Underscore 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 on. Chapter 15, The Dawn of Reconciliation. After many negotiations, the three finally reached a consensus, let go of their hatred and work together to rebuild the glory of the family. Bai Sumo proposed the establishment of the An Foundation to help the disadvantaged groups who have been hurt by the business community and show a new sense of corporate responsibility. Lu Mingyuan promised to use the power of science and technology to protect fairness and justice, and refused to let the family tragedy happen again. Ran finally let go of hatred and returned to the right path, and the story ushered in a long-lost harmony. Underscore 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 on. Chapter 16, The Oath of the New Era. At the unveiling ceremony of the An's Foundation, the three stood on stage hand in hand, facing all the people who followed them. Bai Sumo smiled and said, the grievances of the past have become history, and we must meet the future with love and responsibility. Lu Mingyuan shook Bai Sumo's hand tightly. Cooperation is not only about interests, but also about trust and commitment. Ran's eyes flashed with tears, thank you for giving me a chance to be reborn. Underscore 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 on. Chapter 17, Storms are brewing again. but my heart is as solid as a rock. The commercial battlefield will always be turbulent, but when grievances are resolved sincerely and unity replaces hatred, no difficulties can be insurmounted. Bai Sumo and Liu Mingyuan became legends, not only because of their wisdom and courage, but also because they understood the power of forgiveness and trust. Anan and Ran, the brothers, witnessed the drama of fate and opened a new chapter for them. Chapter 18, Reconstruction and Rift. After the establishment of the An's Fund, Bai Sumo and Liu Mingyuan ushered in a short period of calm. But as the fund's influence expands, the old forces in the business world are ready to move. Some interest groups secretly allied in an attempt to take the opportunity to sabotage Bai Sumo and Liu Mingyuan's plan. In one case, the fund's activities were sabotaged, and the evidence pointed to traitors inside. Bai Sumo and Liu Mingyuan began to disagree under pressure, and cracks began to appear in the former trust. Chapter 19, The Exercise of Trust. During the fund's internal investigation, Bai Sumo discovered that Liu Mingyuan had secretly contacted some opposition forces in an attempt to protect the fund in a more secretive way. She felt betrayed, and the two broke out into a heated argument. Bai Sumo questioned Liu Mingyuan's sincerity, and Liu Mingyuan argued that everything was for the overall situation. The contradictions between the two sides were pushed to the extreme, and trust became a rope on the cliff. Chapter 20, The Night of Breaking the Ice. After a few days of calming down, Bai Sumo began to understand Liu Mingyuan's distress. In a long conversation late at night, the two were honest with each other and let go of their guards. Bai Sumo said, "Perhaps, we are all too stubborn." Liu Mingyuan shook her hand lightly, "But our goal is always the same." This conversation became a turning point in mutual affection and cooperation. Chapter 21, Undercurrents are surging. Just as the two regained trust, the opposition began an all-out offensive. The company's stock price was manipulated, the media smeared, and the An's Fund faced an unprecedented crisis. Bai Sumo and Liu Mingyuan decided to fight back with wisdom and courage, not only to defend the fund, but also to defend their common ideals. Chapter 22, The Final Battle. The two sides are engaged in a life and death struggle in a business war and a media war. Bai Sumo used her strategy and judgment, while Liu Mingyuan mobilized technology and resources to support. After a series of thrilling strategic battles, the enemy was finally completely defeated. On the contrary, the reputation of the An Fund has been strengthened by adversity. Chapter 23, The End and the New Life. After the crisis, Bai Sumo and Liu Mingyuan stood on the peak, looking at the new career in each other. Anan and Ran, two brothers, also found a new direction in their lives with the help of the fund. The two finally officially confirmed their feelings for each other and joined hands to face the future. Postscript. Bai Sumo and Liu Mingyuan went from acquaintance and hostility to relying on each other, and experienced the baptism and growth of their souls. This story teaches us that the strongest strength does not come from scheming and calculation, but from sincere understanding and support for each other. May everyone who struggles in adversity find their own light and love.